Just coming into the newsroom, there's a new study from the FDA and CDC showing us the impacts of vaping among our youth. According to this study, nearly 2.5 million high school and middle school students admitted to using e-cigarettes this year alone. And more than a quarter of those surveyed say that they vape on a daily basis, with most using flavored e-cigarettes as a way to consume nicotine. The CDC is saying that the study proves our nation's youth continue to be hooked by a growing variety of e-cigarette brands with flavored nicotine.
Everywhere you go, school, malls, parks, bathrooms, you will see the same thing: vape clouds, brightly colored device, flavor like mango, mint, cotton candy, and surprising of all, almost every young person who vapes already know it is harmful. So the real question isn't vaping bad, the real question is why do youth still do vaping? According to Health Canada 2022 Canadian Tobacco and Nicotine Survey, over 17% of students in grades 7 to 12 reported vaping, even though almost all of them agreed that vaping carries risk. So if they know it is harmful, what's still pulling them in? This is my documentary, The Craze, Why Youth Vape Even When They Know It Is Harmful. My name is Ayushi Patel, and today we are diving deep into the brains, emotions, and social life of youth to understand the real reason behind the vaping craze. Over the last few years, vaping has exploded among youth. It is not just a habit anymore, it is a trend, a culture, and for some teenagers, almost a part of their identity. Between 2017 and 2018, teen vaping in Canada increased by 74% according to Canadian Cancer Society. That risk wasn't because youth didn't know the risk, it is because vaping offers something deeper, something social, something physiological, something emotional and neurological. But here is the bigger issue: this behavior doesn't happen in isolation. It's shaped by social determinants of health, stress, mental health, peer groups, school environment, social media, income, access to recreation, and even family dynamics. These factors play a larger role than simply bad choice. To understand this, I spoke with three people who see this issue in completely different way. One is a neurologist who studies the teenage brain, the other is a high school student and a university student who sees vaping every day in the real life. Together, they will help me uncover the reason behind the modern craze. First, I will spoke with a neurologist to understand what is happening inside the teenage brain. Let me give a quick introduction about my expert. Her name is Dr. Upasana Patel. She is an MBBS doctor, a MD. She has a doctorate in medicine and degree in teen neurology. She will help us answer some question about vaping among teen in a neurologist point of view. So, ma'am, my first question is, why do teen continue vaping even when they know it is harmful?
Teenagers don't vape because they are careless. They vape because their brains are still developing. The adolescent brain is wired to chase reward, acceptance, and curiosity. Nicotine triggers a powerful dopamine release, and that reward happens instantly. The harm, however, feels distant and abstract. So, even when they know the risks, the developing brain chooses the feeling of the moment over the consequences of the future. It's not a failure of intelligence, it's biology, emotion, and vulnerability intersecting.
Oh, great. Now I understand how developing brain choose feeling of moment over risk. So, ma'am, my second question is, what role does stress, anxiety, and emotion play in driving youth towards vaping?
Stress and emotional pressure are huge drivers. Many teenagers are overwhelmed academically, socially, and emotionally. Vaping becomes a quick escape, a few seconds of calm in a busy and stressful world. Nicotine temporarily eases anxiety, and that temporary relief becomes a powerful habit. When teens say it helps me relax, they are describing the short term neurological soothing that nicotine provides. But that comfort is brief, and over time, it becomes dependence.
I get it how they use nicotine as an escape plan from stress and anxiety, and how it become an habit. My third question is, Youth thinks that vaping is safer than smoking. What's your thought on that? And how does it affect their choice?
One of the biggest misconceptions among youth is that vaping is harmless. The absence of smoke makes it feel clean, but many e liquids contain chemicals that can irritate or damage lungs. Some flavors use compounds like diacetyl, which has been linked to popcorn lung, a serious lung condition. And we have seen real cases of vaping related injuries like EVALI, that is, e cigarette or vaping product associated lung injury. When teens believe vaping is safe, they lower their guard and take bigger risks.
Thank you for the information about popcorn lungs that caused by vaping. So my fourth question is what need to change or what can be done for or by the youth to stop vaping?
We need to create environments where young people feel supported, not judged. Teens need healthier ways to cope with stress, whether that's sports, art, breathing techniques, or real conversations. Schools need strong mental health support and peer led education because youth listen to youth. And at a policy level, we must regulate flavors and marketing that clearly target younger users. Change isn't about shaming teens, it's about giving them tools, support, and understanding so they feel empowered to make different choices.
I love the idea about youth listen to youth, which is peer led education. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your precious time. Do you want to make any closing statements?
Teens don't vape because they are reckless. They vape because they are human, emotional, curious, stressed, and wired for connection. When we understand that, we can finally help them. Not through fear, but through compassion and support.
Thank you once again. You beautifully explain how teen minds work when it comes to vaping. After talking to the expert, I will now ask some questions to a high school student. Hello Ayushi, can you please give a short introduction of yours?
Hi, my name is Ayushi Patel, and I'm a ninth grader in the United States. I want to share my perspective on vaping and why it's so common among youth today.
My first question is, in your school, why do you think youth vape even though they know it is bad?
I think teens still vape even though they know it's bad for them because they've convinced themselves that the risks are not going to affect them. Vaping doesn't show immediate signs, so it's easy to ignore what it could do to you, how it affects you later. A lot of people also underestimate how addictive vaping can be. And it's not just something small or harmless. And before they realize it, it becomes a habit that's hard to break.
I totally agree about what you said about addiction of vaping and its long-term effect. My second question is, what makes vaping so popular in high school?
Vaping in high school is popular for a bunch of reasons that feed into each other. Peer pressure plays a very big part because many teens start because of their friends and they don't want to feel left out. And then the flavors make it seem so harmless and normal. And the devices are so small and discreet, it's really easy to hide them at school. And social media makes it look cool with influencers and trends making vaping seem normal and fun. A lot of teens also turn to vaping because of stress, anxiety, boredom, or thinking it will help them feel better. But nicotine over time makes those feelings worse. On top of all of that, it's addictive. Many teens don't realize how much nicotine they're actually taking in, or that it's not as safe as it seems.
I agree with what you said that vaping is easily available everywhere and it can be hid anywhere because of its small size. My third question is, what makes vaping so common nowadays?
Vaping is so common nowadays because it's easy to get to, even though it's supposed to be restricted. it's everywhere on social media, so it feels normal. Plus, the devices are so small, people can hide them anywhere at school. And it doesn't look as serious as smoking, so more teens try it without even thinking about it much.
There are some great examples of why vaping is so common in high school. My fourth question is, what would actually make youth stop vaping?
I think something that would make teens stop vaping is seeing the real impact. Actual stories from people their age or in circumstances or situations like theirs who have dealt with addictions or other problems because of it. When something is relatable to your age or circumstances, those stories hit home harder than just being told not to do it. Also, if teens had better support at school for mental health and stress, fewer people would turn to vaping in the first place.
That's great. I have some same thoughts that school can help them cope stress, anxiety, which might help them to reduce vaping. And I surely will add some this solution in my summary section. Thank you so much for your precious time and share with us about your thoughts on vaping. Let me now ask a university student studying in Australia. Let me give a quick introduction of her. Her name is Quiti. She is studying early childhood education in Australia. Let us hear her thoughts about vaping. What changes do you think are needed in universities or among students themselves to help reduce vaping?
Reducing vaping in universities requires both institutional changes and student-driven effort. Universities need to move beyond basic warning posters and create meaningful awareness campaigns that connect emotionally with students. Real stories, relatable videos, and peer-led sessions are far more effective than generic health lectures. Campuses should expand access to counseling, stress relief programs, sports, and wellness activities so students do not turn to nicotine as coping mechanism.
Thank you. The idea of warning posters in university and creating meaningful campaign can be helpful reducing vaping. Thank you so much, Quiddy, for your precious time. So what actually works? Research between 2018 and 2024 shows that the most effective solution and intervention include: first, school-based program focused on stress management. Study shows students respond better when school help them cope with stress, anxiety, and belonging. Second, peer-led education. Youth listen more to youth. Peer educators reduce vaping more effectively than adult lecture. Third, social media awareness campaign. A 2020 Canadian review found TikTok and Instagram campaign that use relatable teen voice reduce curiosity around vaping. Fourth, teaching emotional regulation. UPC found teen vape mostly during stress, meaning better mental health, support reduce use. Restricting flavored vapes. According to a 2022 SETCAN report, flavored vape is the first reason youth try vaping. A quick summary, here are the three things we learned today. First, vape in youth is because of their brain. Nicotine hit the reward center hard, especially in teen. Second, youth vape because of their environment, friend, school culture, social norms, and online influence. Third, youth vape because of emotion, stress, boredom, curiosity, and coping. This issue is not about bad choice. It is about human behavior shaped by biology, shaped by physiology, and shaped by society. Vaping among youth is not just a mental health issue, it is a cultural and emotional one, and awareness alone is never enough. What youth need is understanding, what they need is support. If you are a teen, a parent, an educator, or a community member watching this, remember this. Real change doesn't start with judgment. It starts with listening, it starts with empathy, and it starts with understanding why. Thank you for watching my documentary, The Craze: Why Youth Vape Even When They Know It's Harmful.